Tires. A very common item whether it is in real life or in video games. Also a very easy item to understand. If you want to corner faster in real life, you get race tires. If you want to corner faster in Forza or any racing game for that matter, you get race tires. If you want to corner faster in GTA, you get, well, not race tires. But what tires do you get? The first and biggest thing that can influence tire choice is a little handling flag in the game files called tyres can clip. What does this mean? Well, literally what it says. This handling flag allows tires to slightly clip into the ground. I know this sounds very confusing, that's why I will show it rather than try to explain it with just words. I will show you two clips of the same car and you tell me what is different. Did you see what is different? Yes, that is right. The second run was a lot more controlled over the bumps and curbs. And yes, as you might have guessed, it is because in the second run, the tires clipped in the ground. In the background right now, you see the wheels of the Baller STD and the Zentorno. The Zentorno has the handling flag tires can clip, while the Baller STD does not have it. You can clearly see that the Zentorno's tires dip well into the curb. While driving it helps it to stay smoother over curbs and bumps, just like we saw before. Back in the day a lot of people said, put on off-road tires, they give more grip. This saying comes, well, from this, because the flags work better with tires that are thicker, so essentially the wider the sidewall, the better it works. However, it is not really true as it doesn't give you any extra grip. It just gives you extra stability over rough surfaces, which in the end makes it feel like it's grippier because you have more control. So knowing all of this, when should you put on an off-road tire? First of all, you need to know if the car you're using has the handling flag. You can easily find this by going to gtacars.net and scrolling a bit down to this section. If it's empty right here, it does not have it and you won't get any benefit from off-road tires. If it does say it, you have to check an advanced flag. You can do that by scrolling down about 2 centimeters. Especially in a lot of newer cars, this will say fix old bugs. If it says this, you don't have to put on off-road tires, because this flag will make it so that the tire clipping is unaffected by the different sizes of tire wall. But essentially putting on off-road tires doesn't make you slower, so if in doubt, just put it on. Or does it? Okay, yes, from a baseline perspective, you won't get slower if you put on off-roads. However, tires have one mystery left that might make you consider a different tire than an off-road one. Wheel properties. Little disclaimer, this stuff is very niche and also most importantly not as black and white as the handling flag we discussed before. The lists I will show you have been compiled by a bunch of community members, most notably for this specific aspect Ovivo Jr., Fab the Iceman and the main composer Chili. They just did a lot of testing because as you can see in this Discord message by Chili, there's slim to no hard evidence for this even being a thing in the game, except for like this one bit that changed, but even that is very vague and they don't even know what it does. Anyway, it is nonetheless a very interesting topic, and while it may not have hard evidence, a lot of high-level racers still use different wheels, so there's a big chance it isn't just placebo. There are 4 different effects attributed to different wheels. We will go through all of them, starting with rear traction bias. So what does rear traction bias do? Essentially, it will make the rear a little bit grippier compared to the front. It is important to note that this does not increase the overall grip of the car. It takes a bit from the front and moves it to the back. More grip in the back can be a nice addition to a car that tends to lose its back end quite quickly. But like I said, you will lose a little bit of front end grip. The wheels you can use for this are, well, these as you can see on screen right now. As you can see, some of them have some clearer indications, while just saying a 3 or 2 or 1, while others remain with a little bit of a vaguer description. This is also because this list was last updated in 2021. So some of the newer tires that had been added a little bit afterwards only had a very little amount of testing. Front traction bias. This is essentially the opposite of rear traction bias. So if you want your car to be more pointy and aggressive when turning in, you can apply any of these tires. Anti-roll. This increases stability while cornering. The testing on this, however, is very inconclusive. With chilly riding, no wheel might actually have this, but the real-world equivalent is more stable handling while lowering the amount of grip just a tad. This is a sweet spot where the increased stability increases potential. Too soft and you get inefficient use of grip. Too hard and it'll be a slippery break. So this one might be worth consideration if your car is already balanced rear front grip wise. Otherwise, it is not as proven, so I would stick to the other ones if you need those more. Then we have slip angle. Slip angle is the difference of where your wheel is pointing and where your wheel is actually going. In the list here, the higher the number, the more slip angle you have, or rather need. In practice, this means that the car needs more of an angle to reach peak grip. This will make it more forgiving to sliding. And taking a wheel with a negative value would reduce the slip angle and make the car more responsive in non-sliding scenarios, but would also make it slower when it is sliding slightly. So this is once again a thing that is very dependent on how your car is, how you drive, also what track you're using. So this is something you can definitely play with a bit. And all of these are very dependent on testing. So you have to test whether the car handles like this or handles like that. And you really have to choose the right tire for you. It's very specific, very niche, and the effects are also very, very slight. So this is really just to squeeze out the last couple hundreds or just to be a bit more consistent over the course of a longer event. So what can we conclude? There's no magical way to get more grip. However, we can make some cars more stable over rougher surfaces, which can definitely help a lot with races in the city especially. But beyond that, the research on different wheel properties is difficult and definitely not very conclusive. However, using some of the information can help with setting up a car the way you like. However, there is another hidden mechanic in GTA 5 that also allows for, well, that, which is way stronger than this. But this will be the topic of another video, as it is very much in depth and also very niche. In the meantime, if you want to become a faster racer, don't forget to check out these 2 recent videos, as they will make you much faster than these wheels could ever make you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. And don't forget to subscribe.